Hey, what is up everyone? It's the guy here, and welcome back to another episode of TerraFirmaRescue. This is episode 4 of my hardcore TerraFirmaRescue series. In this episode, well first I gotta show you guys what I did off camera. Don't worry, I didn't do too much off camera, nothing that was really extraordinary. It was mostly just exploring and finding resources. But before that, I did want to mention that I tried two things to make this gameplay a little smoother. One was I tried to add the replay mod to get some nice B-roll to show, but unfortunately, because of how it works with some of the mods in this mod pack, it didn't work, so that's not going to be able to happen, unfortunately. But I also got Optifine, so that means I can zoom in on things, and hopefully it'll be smoother. So that's an improvement there. Okay, let's go into what I did. I don't know if I showed you guys, but finished up this farm area so that wherever water can reach and hydrate the soil, it can be hydrated. So everything is planted in here. I'm not going to collect the mature ones for now because I don't have a good place to store them yet. Storing them on the ground, which is not great. The food, that is. I also finished up the making of the chests here and put some labels on it. So went out and collected quite a lot of stuff. So there's a good amount of other ores in here. Coal is one, definitely. And you'll notice that there's some other kinds of ores here. But I went around and collected a lot of other things. Also marble here, which means that, if you remember, that's one of the flux stones that we were missing. I collected that, so that's good. There we'll be able to make some lime water and do a whole lot of other processing as well. Wood-wise, there's some Havia logs. I was able to finish up all of that there. And of course I collected a lot of logs here because we will be needing that soon for making charcoal and just other things like firing up some pottery and whatnot. So there's all of that going on. Don't think I did much else over here. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys where I went on the mini-map because probably shouldn't be out inside the house because it'll show a different map. There we go. So if you can see here, there's a lot going on here. So what I did first was I took the easiest route. And by easiest, I mean it's just the closest way to the ocean, because with the ocean I can cover a lot more land. So what I did was I took off from here and just basically went down, I believe this is south, went down south here and explored this area here. I didn't find any flux stone or anything that I was looking for, unfortunately. So I had to, stay in this lake to wait out the night and check all that out. But once that was done, decided to head around here. So reached here. This was still chert, and I believe claystone is the darker one. So went around here to check all of this out. And unfortunately, there was none of the flux stone. So I went all the way up here to try to find some kind of island up north. Nothing. So I just headed back down because I was running out of food. Hit another area here. That's just the original main island here. But then I came over here and checked this out. And I was like, okay, there's land here, so I might as well take a look and see what I find. And what do you know? Over here, see that white stuff here? That's marble stone. So I was pretty happy there, collected a whole bunch of marble and head back. Of course, I took the boat back because it's a bit safer and faster. I'll be able to travel in the water and I'll be able to travel at night, even though I can't see anything. The map is a godsend. So that's how I was able to make a good time there. But as I was coming down here, realized, wait, what's this? There's marble here. So I went all the way up here for marble. This is super far, but when I could have just gone this way, gone counterclockwise and found this. But wait, there's more, because as I headed down here and tried to avoid this area because I want to stay in the water at night, I found this here. This is also marble, and this is super close. Like just right about here. If I just head out and go to the east here, I would have found this. So that's an unfortunate. It's unfortunate that I had to go all the way around to find that, but hey, at least I know somewhat where my surroundings are. So that's where we are at right now. So without further ado, let's get into some of what I wanted to do this episode. So some of the things I wanted to do, first thing, let me make sure I don't dehydrate myself. There we go. I was wondering why my FOV was so bad. Let me head back down here. One of the things I wanted to do is to do some processing of materials. So, for example, making some of the mortar for the clay for the bricks, and also just a whole bunch of other processing with food and leather. Lime water is going to be super important with the flux. I can show you how I made that. I also did want to correct something about boats last episode. So I said that you had to make the Minecraft planks, but actually you don't need to. You can just take normal TerraFirmaRescue or TerraFirmaCraft planks and you can make a boat. So I was just wasting wood there, which is a little unfortunate, but just a correction there with the recipes. Another thing here is I was also starting to make food. If you notice here, there's it says the food prep, and there's a little bowl here. If I right click on this surface here, you can see a little outline there. And what I did here was, if I have a knife, use a knife and I shift right click on a surface that's not wood, not dirt. So can I do this on the stone? Yeah, I can. There we go. So if I do that on anything that's not dirt, then I can make a food prep station. And it looks like a pickaxe is the best way to break that. So what you can do here is you can make sandwiches and you can make salads. With salads, you can't make add bread in here, but you can see here the different portion sizes that'll go in there. So it'll take 10 ounces or units of whatever food you put in here, 442. Then you can create a bowl salad. Now with the salad bowl, you eat about 5 units of it per time, whereas the sandwich, you eat the entire thing in one go. With the sandwich, you can add that grain in there. You can sort of even things out a lot. So I like to make sandwiches because when I have a lot of food types, let me get into my stats here, I can fill out all of this. So fruits, dairies, vegetables, all of it in one go. So sandwiches are really good at balancing this out. Unfortunately, I don't have any fruits or dairy at the moment, but I need to have that grain somewhere, so I'm still making sandwiches. And you don't need a bowl for that. So that's food prep there. Although I won't keep it on the floor for long. I'm just doing this here until I get the bricks going right there. So that's how you do food prep. All right, and with last episode, how I was talking about flux stone a lot, this is how you get flux. So you have to take a stone that contains flux here. So here we have marble, that's one of the stones. The others are probably limestone, dolomite, and chalk. But marble works just fine here. So what I can do is take a hammer and put it in the inventory, and it'll use up durability. What I can do is create flux from this. So that used up quite a bit because I crushed up 32, but you can get that from there. You can also put it into the grindstone to crush some up, but that takes way too long, so I just use the hammer. So part of why flux is important is because we needed to weld together ingots, which I will show once we get a whole smithing setup going, which I will create here at some point. But I also need to take a look here for lime water. Lime water will be important, as you can see here, because with lime water you can make soaked hide, which is part of the process of leather, but also you can put in sand and you can get mortar out of it, so that's pretty important. And then there's just ways to make dye, which I don't care too much about. So what we do here is we have 500 millibuckets of water, and 1 flux gets us 500 of lime water. And here we have 10,000 millibuckets, which means we need 20 here. So if I portion out 20, put it in here, it instantly turns into lime water, which is pretty sweet. So now we have a whole bucket of lime water. So let's take some sand, 4 sand, because each one gives us 64. I will most definitely need more than this much mortar, especially with the builds that I've planned. But for now, let's seal that in there and have that waiting. So that's lime water. that's a important achievement there. So we have something unblocked there. Let's take a look at the quest to see where we're headed. Yeah, so mortar, right? Flux, I should probably grab that out of the chest and just complete that. So once we get that mortar, we'll be able to move on from here as well. And then we'll be able to go into things like the coke oven, which is important here, mixing bowl, etc., etc. Any other quest-related items? Charcoal, but that I want to do that with. I want to do charcoal with the coke oven. There is another way to make charcoal, and that is to take these log piles and sort of cover them up with dirt or stones, anything that's non-flammable. And then what you do is you drop a torch on here that'll set the entire pile on fire, and then you cover it up. And then you wait for a little bit, and it sort of cooks down the wood into charcoal. So that's how you would make it in normal TFC, but here, since we have access to the coke oven, it'll produce a byproduct of creosote, and it's just more log efficient, since you're not guaranteed each of these log piles to be put in 16 logs, but you're guaranteed up to, you get up to 8 charcoal per stack here, which is not efficient. That's less than 1 charcoal per 2. But here, we can actually, not here, but with a coke oven, you can guarantee a 1-to-1 ratio, which is really nice. Let me take a look at the sandwich here. So you notice that it consumes the entire sandwich. Even if I just had this little bit here and I consume this, it'll eat up the entire thing. So I like to wait until I'm at least halfway through my hunger before I eat, because negative effects don't come into play until I'm really hungry, so I can wait a good chunk of time. But the plan here is to start building out the smithing area, and once this mortar is done, I want to make those bricks and build up the chimney and make up the industrial area. But so let me show you guys what I had planned for the industrial area in my creative world. Alright, so here we are in my creative test world for this series, or for TerraFirmaRescue. Here you notice that there's this floating structure here that I built. This is the industrial area, or the beginning industrial area, I guess, with the steam age. Probably enough for steam age, but definitely enough for the early terra firma craft metal processing and all of that. So here, what we have here is this bottom floor, which I'll build out first without this the walls and the top floor yet, since those won't be necessary, and I don't have access to glass just yet, or any of these quite yet. But here I've built it sort of like a little bit like an office building, it looks like, but also giving an industrial flair. But what we have here is some of the machines that we will end up having, and some of the structures that we will end up having here. So all of this here is just preparation for later, but I do want to build out this first layer here, which is about a chunk. But you'll notice that if I switch out of this cinematic mode here, right, we have granite, which we do have a lot of granite nearby, pretty nearby. So I'll need to collect a lot of smooth granite for this, because this is one chunk. If I turn on the chunk borders here, and start flying here, notice that this indeed takes up one entire chunk, and I want to do this to make sure that when we do build machines later on that can't go crossing chunk borders, that this will help with that. But I want to keep it in one chunk, so of course this is a lot of granite, and these bricks here you have to make with mortar, so that's why we need quite a bit of mortar. Basalt is going to be key here, so I'll need to collect quite a lot of basalt for these bricks, as well as granite. So that's some stuff I can do off camera to make, but this is the rough design that I have here. Let me know what you think about it. But this is what we'll have here with most of the industrial area, and then outside here, this is a water tank which will collect water automatically. We can make that a little later on, but here is the rough design that I'm going for. So we're going to build this bottom floor this episode. Alright, so to start off our build, we'll need to know where to build this, and since we need to build it within chunk borders, we'll need to turn on the chunk borders, and luckily here, or unluckily, depending on how you see this, but the house that I've built here is pretty close to the next chunk border, but it doesn't quite go into this wall, so it makes it a perfect, I think, outdoor area. You notice that that there was like a second chunk outside of the main building, so I think this can be the outdoor chunk, and this here, starting about here, this can be the chunk where all of the industrial stuff happens in that giant building. So I think that's probably what we're gonna go with here. So I'll just go off that design and start building with that in mind here. But of course we'll need to collect some materials. Unfortunately, excuse me, it's nighttime, so we can't do too much. But just from rough calculations here, the outside perimeter, we will need, what is that? 64 minus 4 is 60 bricks. So how do we make bricks? That's probably something we should look at. So if I type in here, NEI bricks, go to the back, that's where the TFR stuff are. Basalt bricks. If we look at the recipe here, we'll need 5 of these brick of any stone type and 4 mortar to create 4 basalt bricks. So in order for 60, we'll need 60 mortar, so that'll use up basically all the mortar here. So we'll definitely need a lot more mortar. And we'll also need, what is that, 75 of these basalt brick. So I'll need to look here for basalt, and I don't have too much of that, so I'll need to collect that. But probably I should build out this chimney area first. In any case, once this mortar is done here, I will need to quickly put in more because we are going to eat through a lot of that. So we'll need to collect more basalt, and also I'll need to collect a lot of the granite smooth stone. If I look in the map here, this is where we are at here. Right here, you can see in the mini map, there's the house is showing up, which is pretty nice. But over about, I want to say here, where it says saltpeter, there is some granite there, so I'll pick up my chisel and take that with the hammer. It's already in smooth mode, which is perfect. I can smooth out a lot of that and sort of just carve right into the mountain and take some granite for the builds. So that's what we'll need to collect. A lot of stones. And it looks like there's a zombie here. Let's see if I can not take damage. Alright, the daytime is here, so we should be safe. Before I head off though, I do want to show you how to make the actual bricks, or the brick, which I kind of forgot. So what you do is simply just put your chisel in the inventory, put the rock that you want to make brick out of, and bam, you now have brick. So I will need at least this much, probably a lot more of these stones. So let me just put this in another new chest here, but I'll keep that in mind. And we have the first batch of mortar. I'll also put in this chest here, but right now we need to collect a lot of stone. Let me eat up and we'll go head out collecting the smooth stone. All right, nighttime is approaching. I finished up with the mining, and you'll probably have seen it in a montage. If not, then I'll put it somewhere. But I did want to let you guys know about the cave-ins, if the montage is there, or if I put a replay back here while I'm speaking about it. Cave-ins happen when the stones are unsupported, although they defy gravity. If you update them and you break a block, and they are not supported by anything, then they have a chance of falling. And it can be quite dangerous, as you can see with all of that falling down. It does quite a bit of damage. So luckily I was able to avoid that and was in a pretty wide open space. But if you're mining into a mountain or something, that's definitely something to be aware of. But let's take a look at what we got here. We got roughly, the stacks are 32. So we have about 6 stacks, which plus 8 is roughly just about enough for that one floor there. And I also got some granite rock, which I probably need more of to make the bricks for that little pathway there. But for now, I will toss these, maybe a stone chest. I definitely need a stone chest now. There we have it. I'll need to keep this on me just for now. And I guess I'll put this with ores, this here. And of course I put in another batch of stuff here, batch of sand to make some of the, where is it? To make some mortar. But let me check this off in the quest here. That way we can move on and we won't be collecting that reward, obviously. But here we've unlocked quite a few different things. So here's the coke oven. So how we make this coke oven is we take some sand and brick and we put them together. So bricks, you'll have to make these clay bricks and put them in a pit kiln. So that'll take quite a bit of the wood we have back there. And how we make this is pretty simple. It's just take that nap together, sort of a like not equal sign, and we get that. But let me craft some sandwiches. Let's put our rye here. I want to put a lot of protein in there because the rest will be filled up with veggies. So let me put that in here, and bam. Now we can make, I'm gonna make 5, 1 to consume and the rest to put in that vessel here. So that's how you make bread, make some sandwiches I mean, and do some good meal prep there. Let me just cut off some of this decay. You probably don't need to see that. But once daytime comes along, we'll go and collect some basalt out in the wild over there, because we'll be needing that as well. Quite a lot of it, so that's important. All right, round 2 of resource gathering is complete. That's a weird bug. I think if you see in the corner, the planet is getting cut off. I think that's just the render distance. But round 2 of the resource gathering is done. Collected a bunch of basalt rock. I thankfully didn't have to go all the way out here to collect it. All I had to do was go to one of these hot spring areas here, and next to hot springs there's typically other types of rock types just surrounding it, and thankfully it was basalt there, so I was able to collect quite a bit of basalt, so that should be able to make our bricks and we can get started with the perimeter there. I also collected a bit more of acacia logs, and this small soaked hide, what I did was I just put the raw hide in here. This is a raw hide in here. Put it in the lime water, soak it, and out comes the soaked hide. Now, part of the leather processing process is, if we take this here, after this we will need to make scraped hide. And this sort of emulates the leather making process in real life, where you sort of have to break it down and then scrape out some of the stuff. I'm not an expert on it, but I just know that this is supposed to emulate real life. But let's stick a piece of log down here, because the next step with this soaked hide is you just right click on a log and you place that down. Now all you do is take a knife and you scrape out each of the 16 bits here, and you will get a scraped hide. Right click that again, it pops right off. We get a small scraped hide, which is really nice there. So let's process that real quick. We want to get that leather as fast as possible. And unfortunately the quest will have to consume it, since it would give us stuff, a lot of good stuff, a lot of bronze to make the anvil basically, but we're not collecting that, so it's just going to be a sacrifice. But what we do with this scraped hide is we take it, put it into the water, we seal that in, and we get in freshwater barrel, and we get a small prepared hide. But then after that, we need to make tannin, but unfortunately we don't have the wood for tannin. Because here we look at the recipe for tannin, and it requires oak log, birch log, chestnut, Douglas fir, hickory, maple, or sequoia, and we don't have any of those, so it's a bit unfortunate there, and I don't think we can really make it from anything else. Oh, we can. We can make it from 2 of these, oh, okay, we can make from 2 of these, so actually, never mind. I think we're saved. What we can do here is, make 2 of these Minecraft logs. I thought we were going to be doomed here. Oh, nice. Nice.
Nice.
Okay, so note to self and note to other people out there: if you don't have any of these the special logs out there, just convert 2 of them into the normal logs, as long as it's not one of the Surgeon Tech ones, and you can take those and combine them again, and you can get oak logs. So all you have to do is just seal one of them in a barrel, and you get tannin. So that's really nice. I'll be able to complete that leather making process there. I thought I had to go out and search for some of the trees out there but looks like we don't need to, which is good. I'm gonna place this here as a special log, and I'll need to collect some more of you, because I'm gonna continue firing up the clay. I think I need roughly maybe like 30 or something of those, but I'll keep on making these clay bricks. And once I have the building material started, I'll start the building process. Probably do a time lapse of it, since there's no need for much commentary on it unless something, again, extraordinary happens. But in the meantime, we'll just do some prepping of the process and get to see the build come together. So hope you guys enjoy. Hey, what is up everyone? It's the guy here. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to cut this episode short and split this episode into 2 episodes because the raw footage was almost 5 hours long and there's no way I'm gonna fit it into 1 episode with the editing time that I have and getting it out on Wednesday like I said I would. So I'm gonna have to split this up, but hopefully you enjoyed what I had here so far. If you are liking this series and you found this video to be enjoyable, consider liking the video. If you think this series is nice and you consider you think that you'd like some of the other content I do, then consider subscribing. But anyways, feel free to leave any questions, comments, or concerns down in the comment section below. Take care, stay humble, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.